spend time with the vessel that was Shannon and I got to absorb her spirit. She said, "Are you kidding me? What the Chance, stop. Wait, please stop. I'm dying. I love you, I love you." And then she didn't speak another word.
This is 27-year-old Chance Donahoe, who only hours earlier confessed to savagely murdering his ex-girlfriend in her Columbus home. But as investigators soon learn, violence was only part of a far more disturbing story, one fueled by control, betrayal, and delusions of power.
So are you, like, as we speak right now, are you feeling like you're a god right now?
I mean, yeah.
The following is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before. In the early morning hours of August 29, 2023, a chilling call comes into dispatchers at the Powell Police Department, and it's from Chance himself.
911, what's the address of your emergency? And your name?
My name is Chance.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I murdered my girlfriend. You'll need to use forceful entry to get into the house. I plan on taking myself to the police station after this phone call.
Do you want
Yes.
the police to come to you? Can they come to you?
I would like to turn myself in because I'm very mentally unstable, and I'm worried that I'm going to commit by cop if the cops come and pick me up. So I need to go into the station for my safety and the police officer's safety.
Well, do you want to go ahead and get in your car and go ahead and drive to the police department and I'll stay on the line?
Yeah.
Chance is confessing to murdering his 29-year-old ex-girlfriend, Shannon Hyatt. As he continues speaking with Powell Dispatch, the call is relayed to Columbus authorities, who quickly send officers to the address he provided.
Caller is in Powell on the phone with dispatcher now. What? He's going to do it. A cop in Powell. Why are we going to Berkeley?
With Columbus officers now en route to Shannon's home, Powell Dispatch continues speaking with Chance, hoping to gather more details.
Do you have any weapons on you, Chance?
I have the murder weapon with me.
Are you able to leave that in your apartment? I want you to leave that in your apartment, okay? I don't want you to take any weapons with you.
Okay.
What is the murder weapon?
It's a knife. Is there any way that I could put it somewhere where there's a child in the home and I don't want him to see it?
There's a child in your apartment?
Yeah, I live with my mother, and she's standing right next to me, holding me accountable for making this phone call. And I just don't want my little brother to see it. He's only 7 years old.
Okay, can we put the knife on top of the refrigerator?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I want you to put it on there, not your mother. I don't want your mother to touch it.
Okay. I'm going to put the knife on top of the fridge. Don't touch it at all. Okay? I'm going to give my mother one last hug before this all starts.
Okay. All right, go ahead and do that.
I'm going to go to prison now.
As police close in on his location, dispatch continues asking Chance questions, attempting to keep Chance stationary until units arrive. But the clock is ticking, and it's only a matter of time before he catches on.
Are you in your car?
Yes, I just turned on my car. Give me a second. I
Stay
can't
there,
really
right?
move my hand very well.
You're fine. Stay there for right now. I just want you to take a couple deep breaths, all right?
Okay.
How's your finger doing?
Can't really move it.
How
Yeah.
deep did it go?
I'm pretty sure it sliced the ligament.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to send a medic to you first?
No. I'll receive all my treatment at the jail, please, and thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Where are you at in the lot, just parked right in front of your apartment?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I need to bring myself to you, and I don't want to be tricked into being picked up. And so I'm going to refuse to answer that, but I'm in my car. The car is started, and I will not disconnect this call until I reach the jail cell and you have spoken with an officer.
Okay.
Verifying that. I am not safe.
Okay.
I am not a safe person right now, and the safest thing is for me to turn myself in at a jail.
Okay.
Not be picked up, because if guns get drawn on me, I don't know what I'm going to do.
As the call continues, Chance leaves the apartment complex and begins driving. But Powell officers have found him, and they're closing in fast.
I left the apartment complex, but I need to pull over real quick and put the address
You left?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you at?
There's a cop right behind me, and I know that I'm being followed and everything. If you have this officer on dispatch, I need you to tell him to just follow me to the police station.
Can you just pull over and let him put you in the back so he can take you to the police station? It'd make it so much easier, Chance.
How?
It would just make it be done right now.
Okay.
Okay? Can you just pull over right now?
Yeah.
Thanks to dispatch stalling Chance's departure, officers were able to intercept Chance less than half a mile away from the address he left from. He turns at an intersection and pulls over into the Sheetz gas station, where the police make contact for the first time.
Can you make commands? Because you probably can't hear me on this side. Can you put both hands out the window for me?
I got both hands. Well, his hands are back in. Put your hands out. Yeah. Keep them out. Hands out. Keep your hands out.
Take one of your hands and open your car door. Open the door from the outside. Face away. Face away. Keep your hands above your head. Slowly start walking backwards. Walk back towards me. Back towards the sound of my voice. Keep walking back.
With Chance fully cooperating, officers place him in handcuffs, then shift focus to the vehicle, unsure of what else might be inside.
This side, doors open. Clear. He's got gloves.
Yep. Blood on it looks like. You got anything on you, bud?
Nope. I got nothing.
Nothing.
I've got 25 bucks in my pocket.
Okay.
It's secured. There's gloves that look like blood on it.
Are you injured at all, Chance, besides your finger?
Just a little scratch on this other hand, but
Your other hand?
Your laceration on this pinky
When did that happen?
during the attack.
Okay. And you put that bandage on yourself?
Yeah, it's just a napkin and some medical tape.
Officers place Chance in the back of a patrol vehicle and remove his shoes, revealing blood-stained socks underneath. Both the socks and shoes are placed in paper evidence bags as they wait to transfer him to Columbus PD custody. Meanwhile, outside Shannon's home, Columbus officers prepare to make entry, unaware of the horror waiting on the other side of the door.
Can I kick the door? I'm good.
Kick the door.
Police! Yep, she's dead. She's right here. We got her. Clear the house. Let's go.
That's 11. We're clearing the house. We got one down on the floor.
Did she get shot or did she get stabbed? Pulled her throat out? Dude, he had to like core her throat out or something.
Blood in the hallway. You see that?
But I mean, there's a hole
Struggle.
like this big in her throat.
Inside, officers find Shannon Hyatt on the living room floor, riddled with numerous stab wounds across her upper body and a deep slash across her throat. A large pool of blood sits beneath her, with additional stains splattered across the carpet and couch. She's pronounced dead on scene at 6:18 a.m. Columbus officers relay the information to their dispatch, who then notifies Powell Dispatch that Shannon has been found deceased.
He killed her. Oh my God, it makes me sick to my stomach.
As the weight of the news settles in, Powell officers arrive at the home of Ashley Ratka, Chance Donahoe's mother, where the 911 call was originally placed.
How are you, Mom? Okay. Can I just have you step out here real quick? Is there somebody else with you? What's up, Pop? Just your... Okay. Is he awake? Okay. I just want to make sure he's okay. That's all we got to do is just make sure he's okay for right now, okay?
Is Chance at the police station now?
We have him in custody, yeah. He went voluntarily. Okay. All right. Hey, ma'am. Is there a knife?
Yeah, it's on the top. I see it.
Inside the residence, officers locate the knife on top of the refrigerator, just as Chance described to the 911 operator, along with a pile of his clothing next to the washing machine believed to be the first outfit he had on when he initially approached Shannon's house. Ashley's other son is also confirmed to be safe and sound, sleeping in his room. Chance's mother is later questioned by investigators, recounting the events leading up to the initial 911 call.
He woke me up at like 5 in the morning and said, Mom, I need to talk to you.
And if you don't want to talk to me, you don't have to. I'm really sorry you're going through this. I really am.
So then he said the knife was in his car. He said his phone was in his car. And He said he was gonna like go sit somewhere for a minute and have an hour of freedom. But I said, Chance, you need to just call 911 right now. Like, you need to just do this. So he did.
His mother's insistence may have been the only thing that kept Chance from disappearing. Now in police custody, he's transferred to Columbus PD and taken to the Franklin County Jail, where he would be interviewed just a few hours later.
I had a major psychological break and kind of completely and utterly lost control of my actions, which I know is not an excuse and I need to pay for my mistakes. Basically, me and Shannon are going through a really bad breakup right now.
Right.
Because I...
You ready for some autism?
Am unable to be honest and unable to not steal and unable to not take advantage of people that are around me. And I took advantage of her a lot. She's been just making all these Facebook posts about our breakup. And
I've read some of them.
She's also come after my mom and stuff. And it's kind of one of those things where it's it's one thing to drag my name through the mud. You can take all my friends. It hurts. But I just kind of lost it whenever.
That would be frustrating and hurtful, right?
Saying things like me and my mother's relationship is extremely inappropriate, implying that we want to have sex with each other, and it's disgusting. Are you serious right now?
Did that piss you off?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, what do
you have the audacity to start publicly saying that the reason I date older women is because I have an Oedipus complex. You're only 3 years older than me.
Chance's perspective lines up closely with what his mother also tells investigators.
Obviously, there's not a reason to ever murder someone, but this girl has been messing with him pretty significantly since they've split up, and they've only been split up for a week, but she was a problem, and I anticipated it getting worse before it got better with her stalking him, and she no longer had control of him, and I think that was making her crazy because she had a lot of control of him before.
We were unable to locate the specific statements both Chance and his mother claim Shannon posted online. However, we were able to locate one post made just 5 days before her death, shared in a Columbus-based Facebook group called Are We Dating the Same Guy?, where Shannon publicly warned others about Chance, stating that he stole my prescription medication and money out of my bank accounts, and also claimed that the money was used on powdered drugs. Back in the interrogation room, Chance begins responding to the claims made about him.
Did you feel betrayed?
In that moment, I felt betrayed the whole breakup.
Sure.
She's been just telling everybody everything, which I'm not gonna lie, I would do the same thing if somebody did that I did to her. But she told me that she wasn't gonna tell anybody about the theft and stuff because I paid her back the money that I took. And the only reason I took the money is because she took my debit cards because she didn't trust me with finances. And I'm not trying to sit here and say all of my actions have a rational and logical explanation, because I don't want to be this way. I don't want to lie, but I don't know how to stop. I don't want to steal, but I don't know how to stop. Shannon thought that the stealing had everything to do with the addiction to ketamine, when in reality, I go through bouts of unemployment because of the nature of my work. And so I run out of money, and then Shannon gets or would get really mean and say really nasty things and all that. And so in my mind, just take this money, give it right back to her as your money, so that she shuts the up and everything can be like happy and peaceful, and then just replace the money before she finds out that it was taken.
But for Chance, the theft and online posts weren't the only triggers. There was something else.
She had started sleeping with Matthew, who she had like just recently started being friends with and told me not to worry about.
Who's Matt?
Matthew is somebody that she was having some form of romantic relationship with.
Okay.
I didn't have a reaction to it, honestly. I was just happy that I had I'm just happy, like I'm still happy. Like, I don't know, I'm not like happy about it. It's up and it's a horrible thing, but at the end of the day, like, oh no.
But jealousy and heartbreak were only part of the equation. As Chance opens up, he reveals a fractured state of mind that had already begun to crack.
I have undiagnosed schizophrenia.
Okay.
I have auditory and visual hallucinations. I went to a music festival this past weekend and kept like seeing Shannon everywhere, and I thought that she was like following me around to like.
Weren't you there with her at Legend Valley?
No, not at Legend Valley.
Okay.
Just this past weekend at Wonder Bus.
Okay. Yeah.
Downtown. I was there and I was working the festival, and she has known about every single move that I've made since we've broken up. Like where I'm at, what I'm doing, like hanging out with, everything. And so like I was getting really paranoid and frustrated because I thought that she was kind of like stalking me. I went directly to my mom's because I just wanted to tell my mom face to face. And I woke my mother up and I said I killed Shannon.
How did your mom take it?
Like shook, shaken. And then she kept just saying things like, you have your whole life. Anything that Shannon could have done to you, we could have worked through. Like, this was not worth it. Some dumb girl was not worth this.
As Chance speaks of hallucinations and paranoia, his mother tells investigators she'd seen this unraveling begin long before the murder.
He didn't have any medication for the last couple of weeks. He was diagnosed bipolar disease for one thing.
You said he hasn't had his medication?
No, he was on Abilify, he was on Wellbutrin, and he hadn't had it for the last couple of weeks.
I can't tell you why he did what he did. Maybe he told you.
He told me it was like hearing voices and all kinds of stuff like that. And I told him, like, just love him so much. I love my son so much. And I just can't believe this has happened.
I'm really
I feel
sorry.
so bad for her family too, and even though she was like doing whatever she could to mess with him so much, like she didn't deserve that.
Sometimes you can't control your kids, you know. I mean, he's an adult and he made decisions, and that's not on you, that's on him, you know. At some point, you gotta let him be adults.
I have, and I've done that. I've played that card. I've done every single thing. I've tried to do it all. He's been in and out of counseling since he was like 4 or 5 years old.
What his mother could only fear, Chance now begins to admit in chilling detail.
I was just kind of driving her because I just didn't really know what to do.
When was this?
This was at about like 11 o'clock.
Last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just driving her between like 11 and like midnight.
Okay.
And just kind of like trolling around.
This is confirmed by Shannon's front porch camera as it captures Chance's car driving past around 11:11 p.m.
And I thought to myself I should check myself into a mental hospital because I'm not really all that safe. I actually just like drove by her house before I like went back to my mom's house and changed into clothing. And I saw a van, and then I saw a person that looked like Matthew leave, and Just kind of didn't think of anything about it because I don't know what kind of vehicle he drove.
So then you drive.
I just drove by because at first, like, all I wanted to do was just, like, knock and talk. But, like, I don't know. I know, like, this doesn't make any logical sense because knocking and getting the police called on you and getting a trespassing charge is far less severe than getting a murder charge. But I just, like, I got to spend time with the vessel that was Shannon, and I got to absorb her spirit and get some of her back.
We have some video, like from the neighbors, like cameras or video systems, and it looks like you had walked up to the house maybe with like a t-shirt on initially.
Yep.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Around 11:57 p.m., a neighbor living next door to Shannon's home catches a glimpse of Chance walking through her yard and across the driveway, unknowingly capturing a critical moment just before the murder takes place.
That was the time that I, like, drove past and was like, saw the van, was trying to, like, work up the nerve to, like, go up to the door, but, like, didn't really know what to do. So I guess I, like, I don't know why, but I was just like, why don't you just, like, kind of just, like, see if she's even, like, here. And so I peered into the garage window to see if her car was there, and then I tried to see if I could see what room she was in without her seeing me on her cameras and stuff. And then I didn't see anything, and then whenever I left, I was like, you need to just go home, and you need to just give your mom your car keys, and you need to check yourself into the psych ward.
So when you walked up to the house 11, whenever, you hadn't planned on hurting her at that point?
No, I don't.
Had you seen Matt yet, or?
I saw Matt whenever I was actually just about to come around the corner to try to, like, knock on the door.
Okay. Did he see you?
No, he had his back to me and he was coming out of the door, and then I got spooked and ran off. I had, like, this weird thing that was just like, well, if you want Shannon back and you can't get her back, you can, like, take her life force, and then you'll be together forever. And so, like, I went home and I changed my clothes into all black, and I grabbed a knife and I went over to her house, and I approached the door, which I'm sure you'll see on her doorbell camera, Ring camera, at some point throughout your investigation. I twisted the doorknob. She screamed, "I will call the cops." And I slammed my shoulder into the door 2 times. After the first time, she said, "Are you kidding me?" Because I think that she thought I was just being obnoxious and pounding on the door or something. Or honestly, I don't even know if she knew it was me until I got into the house, because I had a bandage on my face whenever I was outside. And then the second shove gave way, and I didn't make a noise. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. I just started stabbing Shannon, and she didn't even realize what was happening until I had stabbed her a couple times. And she said, "Are you kidding me? What the Chance? Stop. Wait, please stop. I'm dying. I love you, I love you." And then she didn't speak another word. I don't know how many times I stabbed her. I know it's a lot. I also know that I cut her throat to speed up the process. And I just remember looking at her and feeling like I was, like, taking on, like, her spirit, I guess. And, like, I don't know, I felt less alone than I'd felt since our breakup in that moment.
Shannon Hyatt suffered more than 30 stab wounds across her upper body, along with a deep slash to her throat. She had multiple defensive
Goddamn.
injuries, evidence that she fought to survive. But the horror didn't end there. For nearly 3 hours after her death, Chance remained inside the home, doing things so unsettling, even in...
How fucking crazy is it? Only he took like 2 short. Like, dude, he busted through a deadbolt. God damn, and only 2 tries.
Investigators struggled to make sense of it.
Well, I took her house keys.
Wait, what is this? Oh, okay, that's just...
So
blood.
unsettling, even investigators...
Wait, no, what is this? Oh, that's what they used to open the door, I guess. The cops put that on there. The fuck are those?
Struggled to make sense of it.
Well, I took her house keys and her phone after I killed her.
Okay.
I don't really know why. I don't have her password or anything, and she has like the thumbprint, so you can't like get into it. But like, I took the keys. I screwed a piece of plywood to the front doors to keep it closed.
Why did you shut the front door like that?
To be completely honest with you, so our cats didn't get out.
Yeah, that's good. No, I mean...
I think it sounds ridiculous, but was
You didn't want the cats to get out.
That was a concern of mine. And I'm not gonna lie to you, there is a part of me that's very upset knowing that they slept together, because the first thing that Shannon said whenever she got out of our relationship was, I need to be single for a while and really figure out my own.
Right.
And then I saw something that she wrote down saying, I feel like I'm really falling into the same patterns with Chance with Matt, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Where did she write that down?
It's in her notes on her phone.
Okay. How did you get into her phone?
I used her thumb after I killed her.
Okay. So you...
Dude, I feel like a lot of girls keep, like, journals and shit. Like, well into their... Or, like, diaries, you know what I mean? I don't know about y'all, I never had a diary growing up.
Full psycho stalker mode, dude.
Still don't.
I'm gonna be completely blatantly honest with you.
That's why we're here.
In the aftermath of the murder, Shannon's back porch camera captures chilling footage. At 2:04 a.m., just 6 minutes after her screams are heard, Chance's shadow appears in the window, and for a brief moment, a blood-covered hand is visible. His shadow returns multiple times throughout the early morning hours, a silent presence inside the home, long after Shannon's final breath.
Why are you moving her body at that point?
Because the door is busted and her feet are about 1.5 feet maybe away from the door.
Okay.
And if I want to do any kind of going in and out of the front door, there's just a dead body right in blatant view. So I rotated her 180 degrees. Went outside, smoked a couple cigarettes.
When you say I went outside, did you go out front?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have sex with Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
Afterward?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
At that point, was she dead?
Yeah.
Did you feel aroused, like looking at her?
Not by like her deadness, but like I was still very sexually attracted to Shannon.
She was beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how long do you think that lasted?
Oh, like 5 or 10 minutes.
And did you wear a condom or?
Mm-hmm. It was another just acceptance of guilt.
Yeah. Do you remember where you ejaculated? Was it inside of her? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. How long do you think she had been dead at that point?
I don't know.
From here, Chance lays bare a disturbing justification, one rooted in a delusional sense of power and a belief that Shannon was something to possess. Or consume.
You mentioned earlier that if you took her life force, that you would feel closer to her. What does that mean exactly, like as far as?
Well, it's kind of like a Native American belief of like absorbing the soul whenever you kill an animal.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Native Americans used to kill and rape a lot of people.
Okay.
And like I don't know, like you're absorbing it and like.
Especially the Comanches. Those fuckers are brutal.
I don't know. Oftentimes, whenever I'm experiencing episodes of psychosis, think that I'm a god.
Okay.
And will kind of view people as like just kind of things. I've never been violent to this.
I was just about to sneeze and it went away.
Before, but
I got juked.
I definitely just like, well, if I'm God and I take away your free will and I release your spirit, I take your spirit back.
Okay.
And I mean, I still feel like that.
So are you, like, as we speak right now, how are you feeling about like our interactions? Are you feeling like you're a god right now?
I mean, yeah.
And we're like objects in front of you?
I mean, you're not necessarily objects, you are people of authority, and I am paying the price for like human laws and stuff like that because I'm in a human vessel, but like, yeah, like definitely like a god and like can make things happen.
What's the tattoo stand for?
It's the Om symbol. It represents the sound frequency that's been recorded and picked up throughout the entirety of the known and explored universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's often referred to as the God frequency. It's just kind of a religious representation kind of thing.
Next, Chance is asked to confront the weight of his actions.
Do you feel bad, or do you just...
I feel guilty for taking Shannon away from the people that love her. And I know that a lot of people are gonna miss her. I do feel guilty about that. Processing emotion is something that I've always really struggled with.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid. Like, I'm more of an analyze emotion rather than like feel emotion. I'm losing everybody that has ever cared about me to this relationship. And I felt really alone. I wanted Shannon back. And now I have her back. But I also wanted to take something away from her. But I had absolutely nothing to take away. And except her life. And so I did it. I stabbed her over and over and over again until she couldn't speak and was making weird raspy sounds, and then I slit her throat open.
As the interview nears its end, Chance offers his final thoughts of justice, remorse, and the pain he's caused Shannon's family.
I appreciate you sharing with me what happened. So at least her parents have a little bit of peace to know that the person responsible is in custody, right?
No, I'm a very eye for an eye type of person. I think that the only justice would have been if I was dead too. With all due respect, I'm a dumb and a murderer, but I'm not somebody that runs away from my consequences. In your experience, do the parents of the victims even want to hear anything?
I think this is all going to be out there. The trial, everything else, they're going to know. I think they would like to know how you feel about what happened.
I want you to tell them that Shannon didn't deserve to be a victim of my shortcomings and mental illnesses.
Chance Donahoe was indicted on aggravated murder, murder and abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. According to news sources, he accepted a plea deal and pled guilty on August 8, 2024 to aggravated murder and abuse of a corpse, and was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 31 years. He's currently serving his sentence at Pickaway Correctional Institution in Ohio. Shannon.
I wonder even how That's gross. I wonder how a plea deal was even offered. They had a full confession.
Was deeply involved in the local music scene and spent much of her free time raising money to spay and neuter stray cats. A memorial concert was held in her honor, with proceeds going to support her family during their time of loss.
Wild.
He's down here. It's back.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, let's take a peek.
Just running down the streets. He had a knife
that way?
and everything.
He's got puncture wounds all over the place, too.
And so I'm like, oh, here's a young retard Hitler. If someone is trying to start a new worldwide cult, I will eliminate that person.
On March 10, 2020, officers with the Idaho Falls Police Department are called to a home after one of the residents witnesses a
He's down here.
Sorry, let me start this back so I can record it.
He's down here. It's back.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, let's take a peek.
Just running down the streets. He had a knife
that way?
and everything.
He's got puncture wounds all over the place, too.
And so I'm like, oh, here's a young retard Hitler. If someone is trying to start a new worldwide cult, I will eliminate that person.
On March 10, 2020, officers with the Idaho Falls Police Department
Okay.
are called to a home after one of the residents witnesses a bone-chilling crime. As investigators plunge into a case brimming with appalling discoveries and a suspect on the run, they encounter a twisted tale of cultish accusations and mental disorders. However, nothing prepares them for the twisted motive they will uncover at the end of this heinous crime. On a chilly evening, 31-year-old Aaron makes an urgent 911 call when he encounters a horrifying scene. The following videos have never been seen or heard before.
911, where's your emergency?
This guy named Douglas, he just killed Hans. I don't know what his name is. His last name, Hans.
Aaron lives with 5 other individuals in a home dubbed the Graduate House, run by a local nonprofit that offers alternative housing options for those in need.
And he just took off running down the street.
Is he breathing?
No, he's not. Hey, Hans is not breathing.
Even though Aaron is panic-stricken, he somehow manages to gather his composure and relay vital details to the operator.
He ran down towards Common Sense, towards that direction.
Who's the male that stabbed him?
Douglas Taylor.
And you said he does have a knife?
Yes, he does have a knife. He just killed him.
Is he on the ground?
He's on the ground. Hans is on the ground. He just cut his neck with a knife, man.
Is he lit? Okay, let's start CPR. You're gonna put him in a locker.
I don't know. He's dead. He's dead. He's blue. He's completely blue. His neck is cut. What's knife? Over here. Over here!
As officers arrive and move quickly to secure the scene, they find Aaron outside while the victim is bleeding out inside on the kitchen floor.
He's down here. It's back. Nine zero. Myself and 1-7 are clearing the house.
Good. Ready?
Inside the house, officers Kelly and Picard find the lifeless body of 51-year-old Herman Hans Warland lying in a pool of blood.
We got a back door.
Running down the street.
Okay, just hang out here.
It's common sense. He had a knife
that way?
and everything.
So who's the guy? Do you know the guy?
Yeah, Ben.
Talk to me. Here, just talk to me, man.
Douglas Taylor just killed Hans. The dude, he cut his throat with a knife.
I need you to stick with me, man. If we're gonna find this guy.
Who is he? His name is Douglas Taylor. He has brown hair. It goes over his eyes, and he's wearing a brown jacket and a brown pants with brown boots. He ran off towards Common Sense with a knife.
Okay.
I woke up. I was asleep. I heard him fighting. He goes, "No, stop, please, please." And that's all I heard. And I came upstairs, and he was laying on the floor with blood all over him.
Okay.
Connor?
Where's he at, Karen?
He's right here, but hey, wait, come this way.
Come this way, Connor. This way.
This way.
Hey, do you want me at the back or the front here?
Just hold on.
Hey, go grab the airway bag.
Okay.
Oh Jesus. Okay, let's take a peek.
Okay. Just try not to touch
sure.
it.
All other fire units incoming can slow down.
Even though all hope appears to be lost for the victim, Hans, paramedics continue to check on him.
Watch where you stop, please. Okay. You step right back out then. So, he's right there. Let's just clear this real quick.
I'll pie this room on the left. If you want to hold it forward, Karen. Looks like it's a bathroom. There's a shower curtain. I'm gonna go in. Okay, shower's behind the door, so I can't see. Clear.
Back upstairs, paramedics huddle over the victim to document the injuries.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That shower looked fucked up.
Shower's behind the door, so I can't see. Clear.
Oh.
Back upstairs, paramedics huddle over the victim to document the injuries.
Hey, Maddie.
Dude, I hate small showers like that. You can't even like bend down to like wash your legs and shit.
Yeah.
You want to bring her witness? We're trying to get a 4 lead here.
What's a 4 lead?
Park just wants a 4 lead ran, so. What's that? Parkins just wants a 4 lead ran. Okay. So just so. He's got puncture wounds all over the place too.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's up?
It's working.
Oh,
It's working.
doing the whole deal? Hey, you have a work phone on you?
So he's alive?
No. I'll go grab mine. Yep.
In an unexpected twist, Hans Worlin, the victim everyone thought was dead, has a pulse. As officers hurry to photograph the crime scene, paramedics act swiftly in a desperate effort to save the victim's life.
Bro, why wouldn't he come in and... Okay, is this did he... Where are we at? 536. When homie first came in, he...
Continue to check on him.
Watch where you stop, please.
I'm guessing right here he's checking his pulse.
Okay. You step right back out then. So, he's right there. Let's just clear this real quick.
So just. What's up? It's working.
Oh,
It's working.
doing the whole deal? Hey, you have a work phone on you?
No. I'll go grab mine. Yep.
In an unexpected twist,
What I don't get is like, won't compress... If he has a bunch of puncture wounds, won't compressions just help him bleed out faster?
Orlin, the victim everyone thought was dead, has a pulse. As officers hurry to photograph...
Let me actually ask... I'm going to ask
the
AI.
crime scene, paramedics act swiftly in a desperate effort to save the victim's life.
You're gonna have to start taking pictures quick, dude. Dispatcher, maybe one. Call her recognize we have a full trauma activation. We have an estimated 35-year-old male, cardiac arrest. He is in PEA. Chet, I think we just move him and just get him out of here. I think it's our best bet.
I'm gonna keep talking to this guy real quick. It's good.
You want to logistically organize them? It's coming out of the back of his head.
Dude, it's freaking.
God damn it. Dude, I don't know. Holy. Keep going, keep cranking, keep cranking.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, buddy, you should have... Well, you should have used that thing in the first place.
I'm gonna sketch my Jeff.
In order to save precious seconds, paramedics improvise their plans to get Hans into the ambulance as quickly as possible.
Well, Jeff, we don't have to worry about the Tom Hater subs.
Yeah, no, we don't. Just get him
What did he say?
Okay, we're all set.
The ambulance as quickly as possible.
Well, Jeff, we don't have to worry about the Tom Hater subs.
Yeah, no, we don't. Just get around quick there. Top right.
Okay, we're all set. Check out, see this back to the side of his neck.
It's pumping blood out, bud. Pumping it.
All right, let's just roll. God, a clot too.
Pull that arm.
Let's get it squared out a little bit.
What changed? He's got a rhythm or what?
Yeah, he's in PEA, dude.
Okay.
Boys, you ready?
Okay. Just gonna drag. Yep. His legs, they're up south. Get him up. All right. Watch his hands. I know, I'm trying to be a cocky machine.
He said the knife's in here, in the house somewhere.
Officer Lindquist brings
No.
up a fundamental detail about the missing murder weapon, but that's not the only thing they're lacking. They still have a suspect at large,
He said he ran
potentially
with it.
causing even more death and destruction. Officers immediately turn their attention to Aaron, the 911 caller who's been standing outside talking on his cell phone
Says no, you should not withhold chest compressions. Someone in cardiac arrest just because they have puncture wounds. The immediate threat is lack of oxygen. Cardiac arrest means the heart has stopped pumping blood effectively. Without blood flow, the brain starts dying within minutes. Oxygen deprivation kills faster than blood loss in cardiac arrest. Gotcha. It says CPR is the only chance for someone in cardiac arrest. It means unresponsive and not breathing normally. Effective chest compressions are the only thing that can artificially circulate some oxygenated blood to the brain and heart. Buying critical time until advanced medical help arrives. Without CPR, they have virtually no chance of survival. A person whose brain is starved of oxygen for 4 to 6 minutes has no chance. He said he's in PEA. What does that mean?
entire time.
I want somebody monitoring him on audio right now.
Okay, I think McCart's recording,
But he left him, so this guy's making phone calls and talking and sharing information we need to get recorded.
Okay.
Tape it. Hey, you got that? Tape it. Everything. Yeah.
Before Aaron has a chance to talk to anyone else, Detective Albright records his statement. But the more Aaron reveals, the more uneasy the detectives become. The detective begins his questioning by asking about his roommate, Douglas Taylor, the man Aaron identified as the perpetrator on the call earlier.
So, Doug, what time did he leave this morning?
Like 4:30 in the morning.
4:30 in the morning.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, do you know where he was going?
No, I don't know where he went.
Does he work or anything?
No,
like
he doesn't
that?
work either. He just got released out of a hospital, too.
Oh, really?
From what I understand.
How long has Doug been living here?
Only a month.
Only a month?
Yeah.
Detectives will later uncover the deranged reason that caused Douglas to mercilessly assault a roommate, but for now, they continue speaking with Aaron.
So, Doug got released a month ago or so.
Yeah.
And then he shows up here. How was he when he first arrived?
Kind of peculiar. Just doesn't want to talk to people, doesn't want to interact.
The manager of the group home arrives on the scene and provides officers with more valuable details about their missing suspect.
So is this like a group home or what is it?
Yes, we own three of them. We got Andre's house, we got the lady's house, and this is our graduate house.
Okay.
Most of the guys here had come through. We actually allowed Douglas to come straight from Blackfoot South to come in here. He was supposed to be all right. He was attending counseling at RHS, and I was by here 3 times yesterday, and I didn't see nothing different in the kid. I talked to him, and all of a sudden, and Hunts never did anything to anybody.
Right.
I mean, that kid was just as docile as he wanted to be, man.
Blackfoot South is a state hospital specializing in mental health located approximately 30 miles south of Idaho Falls. While the reasons for Douglas's treatment remain unknown, it gave an insight into his possible mental health concerns.
Had he been normal kind of before that for like the first 2 weeks he was here?
No, not really. It's kind of like strange, off to himself, talks to himself.
So he's been talking to himself ever since he got here?
Yeah, ever since he got here. But he started laughing to himself recently.
Oh, just in the last 3 days?
Yeah, just in the last 3 days, yeah.
Do you know what have you overheard what he says when he talks to himself?
No, I don't listen to him. I don't listen to that.
What about when he's laughing? Does he say anything specifically?
No, he just mutters stuff that you can't hear.
What Aaron recounts next will leave no doubt as to the manic brutality of the events.
That's when I heard them scuffling or fighting upstairs, and I ran upstairs. And when I ran upstairs, that's when I seen Douglas Taylor with a knife sawing on Hans's neck.
The distance between the top of the basement stairs to the site of the stabbing is less than 20 feet. The fact that Aaron witnessed the ruthless attack from such close proximity suggests that he was lucky to escape with his life.
Oh, he looked at you.
Yeah, he looked.
Oh, so PEA means pulseless electrical activity. So a cardiac arrest rhythm where the heart's electrical activity is detectable, but mechanical contractions fail to produce a pulse or blood flow. Interesting.
At me.
Did he say anything?
No, he didn't say anything.
Was he still holding the knife?
Yes.
Or did he make any motions towards you or
No, he
anything?
didn't make any motions or any threatening behavior or anything. I would have fought it back, man, if I would have known.
So Hans was on all fours, on his knees, and
Yeah.
with his hands on the
And
ground.
he said, "No, stop, please." I heard him say, "No, stop, please."
The crime scene photographs the officers raced to document earlier offer frightening proof of Aaron's detailed account.
Remember what kind of a knife it was?
It looked like a kitchen knife.
Like a kitchen knife?
I'm not sure, but they found that there's a red knife laying on the floor in there in the living room that might be the knife. I'm not sure. But it looked like a kitchen knife that it had with a brown handle on it.
Do you remember if it had a serrated edge? Or
Yes, it had a serrated sawed edge.
Oh, that makes sense because you used that phrase, he was sawing at his head.
Yes.
Or on his neck. Wow.
The description of the weapon should help officers locate it quickly if the suspect did, in fact, leave it at the scene. But Aaron is about to share a curious detail regarding the relationship between the victim Hans and his attacker Douglas.
Did it seem like previous to this, he had gotten along with Hans, or?
Yeah, they would sit in the kitchen for hours and then end sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that Doug and Hans got along better than maybe Doug and other people?
No.
No?
No one really got along with him. No one really talked to him.
Nobody really, and that's why I was asking, because earlier he had said that he wasn't very sociable.
No, he wasn't very sociable. Hans is a friendly, nice guy.
Uh-huh.
But Douglas is not.
As Aaron's interview comes to an end, officers are still left wondering about the motive behind the assault and the location of the missing perpetrator. Through all of this, Hans' life still hangs in the balance.
Oh, wait. Hey.
Little radio. Back here, something right the left. Here. Put here.
Jason, you see you down there?
You got to the scene. You also need your driver through the ladder truck.
When we get that top off, let's work on vascular access. Where's that other? Hang on.
As paramedics proceed to provide Hans with preliminary treatment, they're unprepared to witness the scope of the numerous wounds that will be revealed later.
All right, good lung sound. Good lung sound.
Nice.
There we go, boys.
I just don't.
There we go, boys. Just hold on to that spot. Dude, I can't believe you had a rhythm. I cannot believe you had a rhythm.
It just happened, dude. It's hard to
for real. Is the bagging still going okay? Yeah, outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone slow and methodical on the way in, okay? Cut that off. Yep.
You shut down.
Everyone slow and easy on the way out.
With the suspect at large and a grievously injured victim, it seems that the dispatch staff has only added more pressure on the officers.
He coded right.
They got a pulse back or something.
If he goes, collect all of his clothing.
Okay. Were you listening to the radio? It came out as like suicide.
Dude, she wouldn't spit it out.
I know. So she
I was sitting there getting pissed off, like I was cursing.
Well, she dispatched 3, so already I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good, right?
Yeah.
And then it just her dispatching like, oh, it's terrible.
Lift up.
How bad are we?
It's bad. I think he looked. It's gone when I entered the room.
She called it
I
a
don't know.
suicide.
Okay, you guys want to get him turned over?
Someone must have told her bad info or something.
Okay, good to go. He's got his left carotid. His trach has been cut. He's got multiple superficial stab wounds. We worked him because he's PEA on. We're gonna need him.
Make sure that one on the left's the one quick on there.
I'll let you.
Do you have a Sharpie?
I can get one.
Yeah, why don't we do that so I can start marking stuff?
Amid the hectic scene in the trauma room, doctors need critical information, but Officer Lindquist is about to have another breakdown in communication with the dispatch operator.
When did this come in?
Dispatch, can I get the time of the call for the stabbing? They'll tell me to say, 2-2, can I get time of call for the hospital?
You mean the time that you were on scene there, or the time that we notified him of the call?
The time the call came out.
Are you on main?
Yes. Charlie, I don't know how hard it is for anybody to look at the time the call came out and tell me that.
Well, you didn't go across that time.
2-2, any unit with a computer in front of them, can you please advise the time the call came out? The hospital needs that.
2-2, the call came in at 22:25, and I'm not sure what other time you're asking for.
It was 22:25. Charlie hates me.
She does, but she also.
This has been ID or nothing stuff.
Nope.
It's been pretty stressful.
Miscommunications notwithstanding, doctors learned that the call came in 43 minutes prior to the time relayed by the dispatch
Charlene
operator.
needs to chill the
As
fuck
the
out.
medical team does everything they can to save Han's life. At the house, officers gathered outside and discussed their impressions of the crime scene and the possible location of their suspect.
Did you go inside at all?
Me? Yeah.
Pretty bloody.
Yeah, he was bleeding out all over the kitchen floor.
So you did?
He looked dead to us. We didn't go any closer to him. We cleared the top floor, and then we backed out.
While officers might have secured the scene, it is clear that they need to quickly widen their search if they hope to have any possibility of catching the suspect.
She said when we're clear the smell, I'm going to be canvassing the businesses east of the canal.
Adjacent to this canal sits a large shopping center where officers will make an unexpected discovery.
2-4, it looks like there's somebody sitting right next to the stores to your west. 270 suspect over here on the back of Albertsons.
Officers converge behind the Albertsons, approximately 3/4 of a mile from the crime scene, and find their suspect sitting against the east side of the building. When officers ask what his name is, he replies, Douglas Taylor.
Yeah, it's got blood on its hands. The weapon. The weapon. They said the weapon he left there. 9041. Your suspect is saying the knife is there in the house still. The suspect is saying that the knife is still in the house.
Even though Aaron originally reported that he saw Douglas fleeing from the crime scene holding a weapon, detectives identify a blood-soaked knife lying on the floor in the living room and get Douglas to the station without incident.
All right, step in there, go and take a seat.
Throughout his detainment, Douglas has appeared eerily calm and cooperative, but to get a full picture of the savage attack, detectives need to interview him. However, even seasoned detectives are not prepared to deal with the suspect as unsettling as this one.
All right, Doug. Sit right there. You want some water? Yeah, I do want water. There you go.
After reading him his Miranda rights, Detective Schwicht cuts straight to the chase.
Can you tell me what happened tonight from your side of things?
I'm the one who did it.
Okay. Can you tell me why? What happened tonight?
I'm not sure how to explain why I did it.
Within the first few minutes of the interview, Douglas confesses to the attack. However, the motive behind his actions will remain a mystery that investigators have yet to resolve.
I don't know how to explain it using regular terminology.
Okay. In your own words is fine. I'll ask questions if the things I don't understand. I was thinking that probably something happened tonight, or maybe it's an ongoing issue that got you really mad.
I wasn't angry.
Okay.
I have a system of metaphysics which would give you some insight into why.
Can you explain a little bit? Can you just explain to us what exactly happened?
I brutally stabbed to death that man.
Anyone who starts talking about metaphysics, dude, stay the fuck away from that person. They're an idiot.
It should be noted that Douglas doesn't know that Hans still clings to life and casually reveals a morbid series of events. Based on what happens later, everything he says will be called into question.
You said it should have resulted in death. If he survives and pulls through, is that going to be a problem for you, or
There was no chance of survival.
did you make absolutely certain that the way you stabbed him was definitely going to kill him? Where did you stab him on his body? Because I haven't seen this guy.
Oh, I slit his neck open. He should have bled out completely.
Did you stab him more than once?
Yeah.
Were you really mad at him?
No.
Sorry, I guess I asked you that before.
I mean, when you're doing it, you have to do it in a precise manner, of course. You know, and like if he's going to defend himself, or try to talk back, or try to prolong, then it becomes more incremental until you just finally make the final kill wound. But I think I stabbed him about 15 times until the final slit to the right side of his neck, piercing through all of those veins on the side. I witnessed him begin to bleed profusely. So, yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center, an inevitable tragedy strikes.
Did they just call it?
It was loud and saying ants. I called Harkness and let him know it was road 30 light.
They called it?
Yeah.
Hans had succumbed to his grievous injuries, turning the case into a murder investigation.
I thought, like, the back of his head was all disconnected on scene.
That one right there on this.
Okay.
We lost too much of the wire.
Yeah, I will. I have too much time on your hands.
A lot of stab wounds. I know.
2 days later, during an autopsy, medical examiners will report that Hans died from 17 stab wounds inflicted upon the torso, left arm, neck, and other extremities. Meanwhile, detectives in the interrogation room are also getting closer to unearthing Douglas's motivations behind his appalling actions.
Certain individuals who desire to begin new cults, I like to identify and professionally examine, to see if that is precisely what they're trying to do. If someone is trying to start a new worldwide cult, I will eliminate that person.
Do you think he was trying to start a new worldwide cult?
Yes.
Okay.
That is my standard.
Okay. You think being the leader of a cult, he would have done some really bad things?
There are enough religions on this planet.
Like too many. So we'd be better off with fewer of those.
Yes.
While it's highly doubtful that Hans was indeed starting a cult, Douglas goes on to explain the reasoning behind this horrifying belief and his subsequent decision.
Did he share his beliefs, probably his mythology and stuff like that with you? Did he tell you about that?
To a degree. You tell I'm an atheist and I don't tolerate proselytizing.
Was that what he was doing?
Huh?
Proselytizing?
What the fuck does that mean?
To a degree. You tell I'm an atheist and I don't tolerate proselytizing.
Was that what he was doing? Proselytizing to you about his beliefs?
Strangely, yes. Man trying to start a new cult. Not the right idea. Tries to reduce all of the world religions to some German mythology. Makes us think like people who understand some mysterious concept are the true rulers of all the different nationalities, religions, and peoples. And so I'm like, oh, here's a young retard Hitler.
As the interrogation comes to an end, the detective has one final question for Douglas.
After stabbing a guy like this, what do you think would be the right thing to do with you? What do you think the police, the law, the judges, you know, all these people who sit and make decisions about all this, what do you think is the right and appropriate thing to do?
Not sure. Jail, then prison?
Do you think that's the right thing for you?
Yeah.
But if the detectives thought that this would be the last they'd hear of the man, they were in for a shocker. On October 12, 2021, over a year and a half after the incident, Detective Schwick received a handwritten letter from Douglas while he awaited trial. In the letter, Douglas claimed that he didn't kill Hans and alleged that his old roommate Aaron is the one who killed Hans. Douglas reports that he heard a sound, entered the house, and saw Hans on the floor in his blood. He then went back outside where he alleged that Aaron threatened him and gave him a jacket with some blood on it. After being supposedly traumatized by the events, Douglas claimed to have agreed to take the blame and
I don't believe that.
made
One
a
second.
false confession later. When
No, one
Detective Schwick interviewed Aaron, he found him to be completely innocent, with no involvement in the crime whatsoever. Not long after his arrest, Douglas Taylor entered into the Idaho Security Medical Program, but on October 13, 2020, after almost 4 months in the program, doctors declared him fit to stand trial. Then on December 15, 2021, Douglas Taylor pled guilty to murder in the first degree and was sentenced to 27 years to life on February 14, 2022. Douglas is currently incarcerated at the Idaho State Penitentiary.
What the fuck? That's it? So he's gonna be fucking out on the street again at some point. What the fuck? Yo. It's so crazy, man. Watching these things are always at like Florida and I think Colorado. Those states don't fuck around. You kill someone, like, you're probably getting life. Idaho, as we just saw, kind of some pussies. We got some kind of some pussies up in Idaho. What's another one, man? There was one more that was fucking insane, but anyways. Oh, we got some army dudes. Child welfare, genius cops flatter psychopath into... Just look at the views. 10 million views. 11. Some of these ones with the most views are not good. Whatever, we'll just do this one.
One of the bodies that were dug up from the remains of the house.
That's actually Becky right there.
This is Becky, and these were her parents.
This is
one of the bodies that were dug up from the remains of the house.
That's actually Becky right there.
This is Becky, and these were her parents.
This is Kristen Smith, a soldier who has just been shown the remains of his 3 victims. But very soon, detectives will discover that he isn't the only killer.
Am I a suspect? Would you consider me a suspect in the murder?
Yes. And no matter how much this killer duo conspires,
I told him nothing.
talk about this later, they will realize that their plan to hide
Are these guys fucking retarded? You're in an interrogation room. What the fuck? How can you be so dumb?
Has gone up in flames.
If you had anything to do with what happened to her, you need to tell me right now.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
There's still 2 people in the circle that we have not been able to remove. You're one of them, and so is Robert Papes. On September 17th, 2006, residents in the remote town of Pinyon Pines, California, were alarmed to see smoke billowing from the home of the Friedleys. What they believed to be an electrical fire or the beginning of a wildfire unfolded into something much, much more sinister. When police and firefighters arrived on the scene, they found that there was no one to rescue inside the home, because laying on the floor of the living room, 53-year-old Vicky Friedley and her partner, 55-year-old John Hayward, were discovered with bullet wounds. Vicky had been shot in the head, and John, who was a former police officer, had been shot in the chest. Then the home had been doused in an accelerant and set ablaze. In the backyard, things proved to be even more disturbing. A wheelbarrow was engulfed in a ball of fire. Inside, police discovered the charred remains of 18-year-old Rebecca Becky Friedley. Becky was just embarking on her journey into a bright adulthood, and in an instant, it was snatched away from her. Police had arson and a triple homicide on their hands. Fortunately, it didn't take long before the road to justice led them to two suspects, Rebecca's ex-boyfriend Robert Pape and his friend Kristen Smith.
Hey, Robert.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Well, I just don't know what's going on. No one tell me if I'm under arrest or what the deal is.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to kind of explain everything that's going on, so you're kind of well aware. You doing all right now? You don't have no physical injuries?
Oh, no, sir.
Anyone mistreat you?
No,
Make you any promises, threats, or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. You know who I am?
Are you Leclerc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detective Leclerc?
Yes, sir.
You remember who I am?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea what's going on today?
Well, it obviously has to do with the Friedleys, Rebecca and her mom and her stepdad.
Okay. You on probation right now for anything?
Yes, sir.
What are you on probation for?
It was petty theft.
Okay. And that's all taken care of?
Yes, I just finished my community service for it.
Okay. Obviously we're here because I've been investigating this murder for some time. Some information came to light. I've taken some information to a judge. He reviewed the facts. He kind of agreed with my assessment. Obviously, we had the search warrant for your home. I have a search warrant to collect your DNA. Is that all right with you?
But that's fine. Just a blood sample or?
No, it's something easier than that. It's just like a saliva sample. You know, you just stick a Q-tip in your mouth and collect a saliva sample from your cheek.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm sure you probably have some questions.
That's something I'd volunteer. Obviously, there's a little more reason for the search warrant, me being detained and everything.
Okay.
Well, and am I under arrest or,
Well, you're not free to go right now because we got a obligation to meet our requirements of our search warrant and obtain certain things. But let me, if you have something to say that could change my mind or my direction, I'm really willing to hear what you have to say. However, because you're at the police station and you've been here for several hours, I am required to read you your rights.
Okay.
Okay. So let me do that.
The detective reads Robert his rights. Though Robert was convicted of petty theft for shoplifting in 2007, that detail was ordered to be withheld from his eventual trial. Throughout the years of legal complications that we'll cover, Robert was painted as a good religious man who had never been in trouble with the law before.
Ready for some autism?
Personally, I'd count theft as trouble with the law, but I guess when you're comparing it to triple homicide, it's a little easy to sweep under the rug.
Obviously, you've gone through the court process before with this petty theft thing. What do you think about all this?
I just don't know what would lead you to believe that, I'm responsible for it. I understand that, speaking with me and everything, just the fact that, I was close with her and things like that. I understand that.
Hello, kitty.
I just don't, I don't understand what, validates the search warrant and things like that. I don't understand.
Okay, well, I'd be happy to kind of explain some of those things.
No one said if I'm under arrest or if I'm not or what.
Well, we're talking about Becky Friedley.
Okay.
Okay, and her murder.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's some of the things we're discussing. How do you feel today about talking to me about that?
Like in what way? It's, I mean, like, do I like about that case in general, or actually talking to you? I mean,
No, how do you feel about, does it make you sad, make you happy? I mean, she was a friend of yours.
yeah, we dated for over a year, about a year and 2 or 3 months and stuff, and yeah, we were really close. And yeah, when it first happened, it was, I mean, it was, hit kind of close, but it, it's just, over time, just like I had a uncle die about a year ago or something, and then, that was bad too, but just a little bit of time. But I guess the worst part now is just not knowing, what happened.
Okay. If you had anything to do with what happened to her, you need to tell me right now.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
Okay. Do you know for sure who did?
No.
Do you have any idea who did?
I've not the slightest idea. The only thing that, I'd spoken with her family, they talked about how her mom and her stepdad were in some kind of serious debt, and they brought up the idea of something about like a loan shark or something, but I mean, I'm not saying that's like something I seriously believe or anything. I don't know.
Is there anyone you can eliminate from this investigation?
Well, Christian, I suppose he was the only one who was with me during that time.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know anyone who would or who wouldn't. There wasn't. I haven't found anyone to have any motive to. I wouldn't understand why.
Well, tell me why you didn't do it.
Why I didn't? Well, aside from the fact that there's no gain for me. I was already broken up with her. It wouldn't benefit me at all. But other than that, I wouldn't kill anyone anyway. I mean.
Do you think you're capable of doing something like that?
Killing someone? No. I mean, especially the things I heard. Found her in a wheelbarrow or stuff like that, and that just seems really gruesome and stuff. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Do you actually think it happened the way people say it happened?
I don't know how anything happened. All I know is that she was in the wheelbarrow and 2 other people were in the house. Or actually, I don't even know if the wheelbarrow was outside. I just assumed, but.
Did you ever tell anyone, even jokingly, that you were involved?
No.
Are you willing to take a polygraph to verify your truthfulness?
Well, I mean, I just don't. I just like to know like why it is so. Like why I'm such a suspect. I'd say, I mean, if we're getting into like all that, I suppose that I'd want some sort of like legal advice. Some sort of advisor or something.
The main contributing factor that landed both Kristen, whose interview was not video recorded, and Robert in the interrogation room are witness statements. Specifically, several witnesses who reported that Robert, Kristen, and Becky all had plans to get together and go for a hike the night of her brutal murder. Then there's the damning evidence scattered across the scorched crime scene, but that won't come along for several more years.
What if someone had told me that they saw you driving on Highway 74 that day?
I'd say they were mistaken.
Okay. Do you remember that day?
The only reason I remember as much as I do is just because I had said it so many times, before, and it, I mean, I know what I was, things I did. I don't remember times at all, really.
Okay. So with that in mind, you think you could kind of give me a recollection of that particular day?
I worked that day, and I suppose I drove home. I think so. I think I had my car at that time. And before that, I had just gotten rides with Christian. But I suppose I drove home, and I was supposed to hang out with Christian that day, but I hadn't gone to church because I'd worked the morning mass. The church we go to is at 10:30, and we missed that, and they don't have an evening mass. So I was going to try to go out to a mass at Sacred Heart. And as we were driving out that direction, I gave them a call and found out we'd missed it. So we went back over to Christian's, and they were playing games at some point, and then went paintballing. I don't believe we stopped anywhere. I think we were just driving, and then we ended up turning around and just going to his house.
Okay, so tell me specifically what happened when you got to his house.
Oh, crap. I really don't remember that day very much at all anymore. I probably should have written it down or something, but I think we just got to his house, and we wanted to go paintballing him, but because the gun that I had I'd gotten it from my friend, and it didn't work all that well, and I was going to try to see if I could get it to shoot right. And so we were hanging out at his house, and ended up going out there, and we were out there for a while, and came back. And
what do you mean by going out there?
Oh, we went out to behind James Orkin Middle School. There's like that big desert area, but there's a spot where there's a lot of like tables and chairs and a bunch of stuff that people brought out there specifically for paintballing. So that's where we're going out to play with the guns. But just basically trying to fix my gun the whole time. I think Christian's worked pretty well.
Were you able to use your gun at all?
Oh, yeah, I fired a few, I believe. But I mean, it kept leaking air, so it didn't last very long.
Did you guys talk to anyone? Anyone come by that you know, and hey, what's going on?
Well, no, because it's like kind of like back like behind the school almost. So I mean, you're not gonna like see someone driving through the.
Well, I mean, no other paintballers there.
Mm-mm.
You talked to anyone on the phone while you're out there?
I don't believe so. If anything, maybe my girlfriend or something, but I don't know.
I mean, would you typically have your phone with you?
Sometimes, but I mean, we were planning on doing some like, little skirmishes, just us two. So if anything, I'd probably put my phone in the car or something, because I wouldn't want to get it all dirty, because it's all desert.
Okay. Would you leave your phone on or off?
It's very possible I'd turn it off.
Why would you do that?
Why would I turn it off? Just because it saved battery. My phone, a lot of times I'll use it to, it plays MP3s, so a lot of times I'll use it to play that, so it runs down the battery fairly quickly.
Robert does a great job of sounding casual about his phone being off, as if it's an everyday occurrence for him. But when detectives asked those closest to him, they learned it was anything but. Robert's partner from January 2006 to 2015 told police that in their entire relationship, the day of Becky's murder was the only time where she was unable to get a hold of Robert for several hours. In 9 years, there was only a single 2-hour span where Robert was completely unavailable. Coincidentally, that's during the exact time when Becky, Vicky, and John were murdered, between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. At 7:13 p.m. on September 17th, Robert's phone turned off. At about the same time, Kristen's phone also went off. Records indicate that the phones either went into airplane mode or were completely turned off. Both phones turned on again at around 9:44 p.m., over 2 hours later. Where they turned off and on would prove to be one of the most damning bits of evidence in this case. But first, detectives have to address what exactly
really
the plan
evidence.
was that fateful night.
Kind of more circumstantial.
What's his deal with all this hiking business?
She had invited me to go hiking, and I had told her I would, and I didn't, I wasn't planning on going because I knew she would have kept on bugging me, so I just said I would, and then I was planning on just, canceling, last minute, and then, then she didn't go hiking with whatever guy she was going hiking with or whatever, that was it.
And when was this?
When was it? Wait, when was?
You're telling me about a hiking event. I'm asking you when that was.
Well, that was the thing. That was when she had that was the night we were supposed to go hiking, and it was supposed to be me and her and some other guy who I don't know, and that was the night that happened.
That what happened?
She was, that they were all together.
Okay. Tell me about this other guy.
I don't know. I honestly can't remember whether she said he was a Marine or if I just assumed he was, because that's who she associated with a lot. I'd heard about her and one of her sisters going and hanging out at the Marine base, the 29 Palms Marine base kind of a lot, hanging out with the Marines there. So, I like I said, I'm not sure if he actually was or not.
What makes you think, why would she invite you up there if she's inviting someone else that you don't know up there?
I believe that she still had feelings for me. I was the one who broke up with her, and she didn't like that. And I moved on. I'd gotten my current girlfriend, and I'd moved on and everything, and I was trying to slowly kind of just shut off contact with her, but she believed she still wanted to hang out with me.
Okay. So, why would she invite you up there and invite someone else that you didn't know?
I don't know.
I mean, that wouldn't impress you, would it?
It wouldn't. The only thing I could imagine would be that she'd want to make me maybe jealous or something, but I mean, okay. I'm only speculating. I don't know why. That was, it seemed odd to me at the time, and it's kind of another reason why I didn't want to go.
Well, where does Christian fit in with this?
Christian doesn't fit in with the hiking trip.
Well, remember when Becky came over to Christian's house?
Yeah, I was at Christian's house.
You ready for some autism?
That'd be like the time he fits in anymore.
Okay, so when Becky, this was the day before the murder.
When she came over?
Right.
Was it? I believe it was, but I wasn't sure.
Becky called you and said she was in the area and you were at Christian's house?
Yeah,
and
she said that she was doing some homework or something with a friend of hers or something. She said she just wanted to stop by and say hi or something. And I'm like, well, I'm over at Christian's.
Okay. So when she got to Christian's house and talked to you, was Christian present?
I think Christian walked out, and I think he just said hi, and I think he walked out one more time to say bye or something, but I'm not sure if he was... If he was there, I don't think he was standing there the whole time. I can't remember.
Was he involved in the hiking conversation?
No. No, there was...
Were you going to go up to Becky's house with Christian?
No, I wasn't.
Were you going to go up to Becky's at all?
Well, I wasn't going to.
It was never your intent to go up there?
It was never my intent to actually go hiking.
Okay. Did you lead Becky to believe that you and Christian were going to go up there together?
No. I don't believe so. I believe I just said I was just going to go.
Okay. So why would other people believe that you and Christian were the ones going up there?
I'm not sure. I mean, I suppose it's possible that maybe he was included since he was there, but I, as far as my recollection, I thought it was just me.
Javier Garcia, Becky's best friend, told police that the night of the murder she called him and told him that Kristen and Robert were both on the way to her house. In addition, Kristen's own father mentioned in an initial interrogation that the boys planned to visit with Becky that night. Two separate people indicated that both of them had plans, not just Robert, to make the 40-minute drive to Pinyon Pines.
Earlier you mentioned something about a wheelbarrow.
Yes.
What was the deal with that?
Well, Javier told me, he called me and told me that there was a body in a wheelbarrow, and he later told me that it was her body.
Okay. Have you ever seen a wheelbarrow at her house?
I don't know, there's all sorts of tools. They had a little old tractor and things like that. I imagine there would be a wheelbarrow. But I don't believe I've personally seen it.
Okay. So if you haven't personally seen it, then it's fair to say you've never touched it?
I wouldn't imagine, but I've played around in their garage before, just because there's he had a lot of power tools. I know if I've played with the different tools. Some are power tools, some are gasoline.
Right, but there's a difference between tools and a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
You know what a wheelbarrow is, right?
I know what it is, but like with the phone thing, I just assumed. I'm not gonna say I never touched it, because it's possible that I've touched it before.
How could it be possible if you never recall seeing one?
Well, I mean, things can be somewhere and you don't remember it being there.
Surely you remember a wheelbarrow.
Well, I mean, I don't know what their garage looked like after the fire. It could look like, in the pictures I saw like online, it looked like that side wasn't the garage side wasn't as burnt as bad. So I don't know if the garage is okay. But if you've seen it, there's a lot of stuff in the garage. So kind of like it's kind of like my grandma's garage down here. There's a lot of things in there, and I'm sure I've touched a lot of them and couldn't recall it being there.
You know what DNA is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm talking about not DNA from years ago. I'm talking about DNA and fingerprints that are left at a crime scene.
Okay.
You know, that's stuff that you say, you know, hey, this is stuff that's left now.
I'm gonna refill my water. Give me 1 sec. Oh, my legs.
Not from 6 months ago or 12 months ago and all that stuff. Okay?
All right.
So, she died on a particular date. Okay? We processed the crime scene for evidence. Okay? And certain evidence was collected. Okay? And that evidence tells us certain stuff. And it even gives us time frames. Okay? So would your DNA or fingerprints indicate that you were at that house on a day?
You're asking me?
Yeah. That she died?
No, it would not be there.
Okay.
DNA on the wheelbarrow would eventually prove to be too degraded to provide any insight into the investigation.
That's what I was thinking.
But DNA next to the wheelbarrow, well, that was a whole different story. One that Robert has no idea is about to unfold, because in all likelihood, he has no clue that anything was left behind at the scene of the crime.
Becky had feelings for you. Did you have feelings for her still?
She was a big part of my life, and I couldn't just cut off everything, but it was, I was in the process of moving on. definitely there wasn't as much feelings as there was, earlier.
Okay. So say, let's take like the 7 days prior to her death.
Okay.
Because I understand, you guys broke up, like what, January of 06?
I don't. So we broke up in January. That would make sense.
Do you know when she died?
September, because the year
Do you know what
anniversary
day?
just came around. No, I don't know.
Okay. So in those 9 months, have you guys communicated, or what was the relationship in those 9 months? Specifically, say September. I'm sure February maybe you guys talked more than September, or vice versa. So tell me how that worked.
I think the time that I had spoken with her, like the night before or day before or whatever, before the murder, whatever happened.
It was a murder.
Okay, all right. Then I hadn't spoken with her in a good amount of time, because I was, like I was saying, I was trying to slowly stop the communication, just kind of move on.
I don't know what you mean when for your time frame, a little amount of time.
Okay, I honestly don't remember the last time I had spoken with her before that. It was probably more than a month.
Did you talk to her on the day she died?
The day? Yes.
Okay. How many times do you think you talked to her on the day she died?
I believe once.
Okay. Did you see her that day?
No, not that day.
Okay. The day before she died, you talked to her in person at Christian's house?
Yes.
Okay. Did you? And I know you said she called on the phone before she got to Christian's house.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's 2 communications that day. Did you guys have any other conversation that day?
Wait, 2 communications that day? There was, wait.
She called you, said I'm in the area, and I'm gonna come by. Then she showed up at Christian's house.
Okay.
So you guys had 2 conversations.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So other than those 2 conversations, did you talk to her at any other time on that day before she died?
I don't think so, but I mean, I guess it's always possible that, it's like, oh, she called to say something real quick or something, but there shouldn't have been any other, like, detailed conversations.
What about that day before? 2 days before she died?
I don't believe I spoke with her.
Okay. I mean, because if you talk to her one time, you may not remember. Could be insignificant. But if you talk to her 20 times, obviously you would remember.
Okay.
So that's what I'm getting at.
I don't believe I did. I don't remember. It was, some time ago.
Okay. It's not going to serve us much purpose if we talk about things and we just get a whole bunch of I don't remembers.
Okay,
obviously, that's why.
But then again, I don't want to say something that's clearly wrong, so.
Sure.
I
don't want you to do that either.
I was trying to be, like, honest about the phone thing. I assumed he did, it just would be weird to me that he didn't have a phone, but I guess he didn't then.
Becky's friends and phone records contradict what Robert has said. Just 3 days prior to Rebecca's death, she and Robert had a 10-minute phone conversation that was initiated by him. And though he continues to paint Becky as the one who was chasing him, testimony from her surviving friends say otherwise. 2 close friends of Becky told the jury that Robert had an obsessive need to be in control of her. Shortly after their breakup, one friend recalled that Becky received 30 to 40 calls a night from Robert while the 2 were on vacation together.
What time were you supposed to go hiking?
We didn't have. I remember speaking with her. She just said after
weird.
work, and I said, after work, we gotta get, take a shower and stuff like that. So it's obviously going to be sometime after that. But I don't remember if we set a specific time.
After your work or her work?
My work. I don't think she worked that day.
Okay, so you got off work at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, right?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay. So what time would you call her in order to cancel? I mean, she would expect you at some point.
Yeah.
Daytime, nighttime?
If anything, it'd probably be a little bit later, because I think I was trying to kind of just save it for the last minute, just kind of like, oh, something just came up real quick or something. So I believe, if anything, I would have saved it till a little bit later.
Okay. So what time do you think?
Well, we were late for church and stuff, so about 5 or 6. It'd obviously have to be, after 6 or something. I guess it'd be between 6 and 8 or something.
Okay.
But I thought 8 seems too late anyway. So I'd imagine it was before that.
Okay, well, the only thing before 8 and after 6 would be 7.
Okay, I guess that seems like a fair number that I would guesstimate.
So it'd be fair to say that you would have called Becky around 7 to counsel because you would anticipate she would have been home at that time?
I'd imagine, yeah, I'd say that would seem fair.
Okay. So would there be a telephone record of you calling her cell phone at 7 o'clock?
There should be. Obviously you've got the records.
If the first time that you talked to Detective Michaels, do you remember talking to him in this room?
Yes.
And he was asking you about, all this stuff about Becky?
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that you were going to go hiking with him, or go hiking with Becky?
Yeah, I was supposed to, yes.
Okay. But you didn't tell him that you counseled.
I thought I did.
But you didn't.
I didn't tell him that I did cancel him? What did I say, that I never spoke with her, or?
No, you just didn't. You just blew her off, basically. You didn't intend to go.
Well, because I believe I remember talking about her calling, I believe she called Christian's cell phone after that because she knew I blew her off. Somehow, I believe.
Why would she call Christian's cell phone?
Because if she was trying to get a hold of me, Christian would be the only other person to get to, because I'm usually...
Why was she trying to get a hold of you?
Because obviously if I wasn't there, or I hadn't talked to her, what happened, then obviously she'd want to get a hold of me and find out what's going on.
But didn't you just tell me you talked to her and counseled?
I believe I did.
So why would she call Christian and try to get a hold of you?
Because I believe I called and canceled and she wasn't happy about it, so she called Christian to get a hold of me because I believe if I had stopped talking to her, maybe she called me and I didn't pick up or something.
Okay. Alright, you want a drink of water?
My mouth is a little bit dry, but I was just...
We're almost done.
Okay.
The look that Robert is giving here is warranted, because they are not almost done, not by a long shot. When police return 15 minutes later, they have some more facts that Robert is not going to like being confronted with.
Has Christian ever shot your 2 guns? Your shotgun and your
He's never shot the shotgun. He has shot the Mosin.
Have you shot his weapons?
I shot the shotgun one time.
When was it last time?
It was when he first got it, and that was a good deal of time ago. I guess you'd have to. I couldn't even say when it was.
Okay. They found a holster at your house.
Yes, sir.
And whose holster is that?
That is mine, because I was hoping to get a Glock for the class, the peace officer training class, and
Ready for some autism?
If you want to verify, you can verify with my brother. I'm trying to save up money, and it's really going to be his, but I'm going to use it for the class.
What caliber are you looking at?
I was looking at the Glock 22. It's the full size 40 caliber because it's. I just heard it was just what the police officers are using now, which is a little more powerful than the 9mm, but it's. I guess it's just a little more powerful than 9mm, but I don't really know much about it.
Have you ever shot a 40 caliber?
No, sir.
Did Christian's dad, John, you know him?
I know him
pretty well.
I mean, just because he's my friend's dad, but
Okay, he said he kind of knew you pretty well.
we watched movies and talk like that. Talk things.
He was kind of under an impression that both you guys were going up there too.
You thought we were actually going to go up there?
You and Christian. Where would he get that from?
I don't know where he would get that impression.
Okay. Was there some conversation that you guys had that maybe other people thought you guys were going to do something that you didn't actually intend to do? You know, like go up there?
No, we never had the intention of actually going there.
You ever heard of like pro-life Catholic ministries?
Pro-life, against abortion. I'm not sure if that's like a specific like group, but pro-life Catholic ministries.
Well, you're Catholic.
Yeah.
And you know they have this
people boycott abortion and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, there's this Catholic group who go around the local churches here, the Catholic churches, and they train the volunteers, about, pro-life, teenage pregnancies, things like that, maybe even assist with, troubled teens or things like that.
Okay.
I mean, you have that at your church?
There are people who are involved in it. My mom is involved in a program. It's called Magnificat. I don't know what all that consists of, but
some of this organization is probably the main, diocese in San Bernardino. Their groups probably come around. They pass out their business cards. They go to your church, Sacred Heart. You ever seen any of these business cards?
A business card? I don't know.
Well, they say pro-life ministries on them.
I don't recall, but I mean, I would imagine, maybe I've seen it, but I just don't recall seeing it, but just a business card, I don't know.
Well, it's just not a business card. You're 19 years old.
Yeah.
Okay? You go to college. You tell me that you've explored a career in law enforcement. You've taken this class.
I'm taking it now, yes, sir.
Okay? So, these aren't just general questions. These are things that maybe you know the answer to or you don't. Okay? So, if there was a business card with your fingerprint on it that said pro-life ministries, would there be a reasonable explanation for it?
It would make sense because my mom is involved in pro-life, things like that. So I wouldn't.
It would make sense that your mom's fingerprint's on it, but I'm asking you about your fingerprint.
I've helped out with the different things. I've gone and do little protest things, like go stand in front of the abortion clinics and things like that. I've passed out flyers and stuff. I mean, if a business card was part of that, then I'm not ruling out that I wouldn't have touched it. It would make sense if my fingerprint would be on something like that.
Okay. Was Becky involved in that?
Pro-life? I don't believe so.
I mean, would you have conversation with her about it?
I know we've spoken about it. I don't think she's ever done anything that involved stuff like that. I don't remember.
So would you give her a business card?
Maybe I would. I mean, I've got things like that that
Robert, you telling me that you're kind of involved in it?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't actively.
But Becky's not. You would remember if you gave Becky a business card related to this pro-life abortion stuff, okay?
I don't know why I necessarily.
Recently.
Recently?
Okay.
I don't know why I would have given her a card like that. I really don't know why I would have.
Well, I'm asking you, would you have or would you not have?
I'm not saying it's something I'd never do. I mean...
Well, certainly you would remember if you did.
Well, I don't know why I would necessarily remember something like that. Why is that such, it's not like a significant event. It's just...
Well, Becky's death, okay? Becky's murder is pretty significant.
But I don't know how that makes a business card significant.
Well, a business card about, pro-life and things like that, you're involved in it, she's not.
Okay.
You would remember.
Why would
you give it to her?
Why would I remember that specifically? I mean, it's a business card.
You remembered a lot of things that weren't significant about all this.
Like what?
All sorts of things. We've talked about things for all sorts of things that you remember, calls and conversations and places. They had no significance, but you seem to remember that.
This simple business card is one of the most pivotal pieces of evidence in the entire case. It was found mere feet from where Becky was killed behind her home. Police immediately discovered partial fingerprints on it, but fingerprint and DNA analysis had some evolution to go through before they could confidently match it to a suspect. In 2014, technology finally caught up. Kristen's fingerprints were identified on the business card. In all of Kristen's interviews, he repeatedly told law enforcement that he had never been to Becky's home. So how did his fingerprints get on a business card 40 minutes away, high in the mountains, at the scene of a violent crime?
Am I a suspect? Would you consider me a suspect in the murder?
Yes.
Why was it that Christian's dad was told that, like...
We're not talking about
were-
Christian.
I
We're not
didn't
talking
say-
about
I didn't say-
Christian's dad.
I didn't say
We're talking
Christian.
about Robert Papp.
Okay, it's paid, but I feel this conversation is just moving towards a like hostile tone, and I don't appreciate being taken from my house when I would have voluntarily given up my fingerprints and my DNA cheek sample or whatever, and I missed an interview. I would have a job now. I have no income right now. I mean, of course, it's not so much of a big deal since I'm living with my mom, but I just feel that it was a little unnecessary.
I thought Becky Friedley's tragic death was significant in your life.
That was significant. Well, it is significant. What says that that's not significant?
You just turned the page and thought some other things in life were significant. Why Christian's dad said this? Who cares about what he said? Let's talk about Robert.
Because someone he spoke with said that Christian and I weren't suspects. But it seems pretty obvious we are.
When was that?
You can ask him. I don't remember exactly when it was, but someone had.
He's not here, so I'm asking you. When was that? Today? Yesterday?
It was maybe about 4 months ago.
Okay, well, things have changed in 4 months.
Have they changed that much? They've really focused on.
Were the police in your house 4 months ago?
They weren't, but I don't know what.
Were you taken from your house 4 months ago?
I wasn't taken from my house.
Okay, so would you say things have changed in 4 months?
That's what I'd like to know. I'd like to know what has changed, and I'd asked that, and I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, I'm a person who collects information. I'm not in the business of giving information. Things have changed, and things constantly will move forward. Okay.
And while
I'm giving you an opportunity to show your truthfulness to me. Okay. And if you want to take a polygraph test and pass the polygraph test, then that will show your truthfulness.
Really? Okay. Well, the other thing is, if you look at the other side of the coin, when you, consider that. An attorney's only goal is to be like defending and making money. Well, obviously, isn't that saying that your only goal is to try to like make someone look guilty so that, maybe you can...
My only goal is to find the truth. The facts. Okay? I get paid the same whether crime gets solved or doesn't get solved.
The point I'm making is it just seems like it's moving towards more of a hostile tone. And I just feel like I would feel more comfortable seeking some sort of legal advice.
You can do whatever you want, Robert.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, then that's what I'm saying that I want to do.
Okay. And you'll be able to... You can do that.
At this moment, Robert doesn't seem to realize how in limbo his life really is, because police have more records and evidence that they've yet to disclose.
So your service is with Verizon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And every time you make a cell phone call, it is
documented. Okay.
And you know what a cell tower is?
Yes, I know what a tower is. Yeah.
Okay. A tower gives you a location where you're at.
Okay.
Okay. So based on the triangulations of the cell towers and your phone call history, I can tell you where you were at when you made certain phone calls.
Okay, and like I said,
One thing we need an explanation for is where you were at when you made a particular phone call, because it's not jiving with your story.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm not sure why it wouldn't jive with my story.
Is he wearing
It
gloves?
wouldn't if it wasn't the truth.
Okay.
Okay? Remember, the truth doesn't change.
Okay. And I'm telling you what I remember.
Okay. Unfortunately, what you remember and what happened is two different things.
Okay.
Okay? So we need to get rid of what you remember and find the truth.
Okay. But you can't just get rid of what you remember if that's what you remember. Because aside from what you remember, there's nothing really, because if you don't remember it.
Well, the truth is always there. And for some reason, people always kind of come back and remember the truth. You can remember insignificant things in your life, right? All the time you remember things that are insignificant. Okay.
Well, certain things, but that's why I call it insignificant, because a lot of times you don't remember them.
Well, no. Okay. Now we have a significant day. Robert is at the police station.
Okay.
Okay. Is our prime suspect for this murder. And this isn't the time to can't recall an insignificant fact. Okay? You need to think down deep inside you and start recalling some significant facts.
Okay.
Okay?
I
need
told
an
you.
explanation on some of these places you were at. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation. Okay? But until I hear it, okay, there ain't no explanation. If you want to make it reasonable, I'm all ears.
Okay. But that's as I remember.
No? Don't you think you and Christian would remember the same events?
I'd imagine we would.
Okay.
But then again, I'd imagine he'd remember the locations of where exactly we went better than I would, since
Why
he was
would
driving.
he? Why?
Because he was driving and I wasn't looking at the road.
What were you looking at?
I was looking at my phone.
Okay, for 20 minutes?
I don't remember.
So, you know where Monterey is?
Yes, I know where Monterey is.
Okay. You know Monterey south of 111? Where does that road go?
That goes up to Rebecca's house.
Okay. Were you at any time on Monterey south of Highway 111?
I suppose the only way is if we had turned around there.
Okay. Well, why would you turn around there? You have no idea where you turned around.
I do. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's possible that we turn around there. I didn't say that we did.
So with that in mind, you really have no idea how far you got.
I don't know. Like I had said.
Okay. But the cell phone towers know.
Okay.
Okay. So with that in mind, your story needs to fit the cell phone records.
Okay. So let's say I turned around there. I'm not gonna, just because that's what the records say doesn't mean that I'm gonna say that I remember it.
Of course.
Okay, but what if I turned around there? Where say we're driving down 111.
Well, turning around there doesn't answer the question anyways.
I don't know, maybe we were in the right lane and he, couldn't get into the left lane quickly enough.
That
so it
still
takes a
doesn't
rest.
answer the question because I just said that. That's not the facts.
What do you mean, because you just said that?
I'm just giving you an example.
I'm giving you an example that that's
If you
possible.
turn around at 111 in Monterey, it still doesn't jive with the cell phone records.
Okay, like I was
Because the cell
saying.
phone records aren't at 111 in Monterey, they're somewhere else.
Okay, I don't know where they are, but I'm telling you what I remember.
The only way to unlink yourself is to show me that you're not involved.
Okay, I don't know how to show you that I
Okay,
wasn't.
I'll tell you. Okay? You contact me when you want to take a polygraph test, and you pass the polygraph,